In an age when magic still whispered through ancient stones and giants roamed the land, the destiny of Britain balanced on the edge of a single blade. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, begins not in quiet, but in cataclysm, a kingdom besieged by monstrous forces beyond imagining. Massive war elephants, draped in armor, their eyes lit with the glow of dark magic, batter the fortress walls of Camelot. Atop these beasts rides Mordred, the most feared mage of the age, driven by ambition to see the age of men crushed beneath the rule of sorcery. The air burns with fireballs and crackling lightning. The ground shakes with each step of the war beasts. Panic grips the kingdom, but deep within the heart of Camelot, King Uther Pendragon stands resolute. In his hand, the legendary sword Excalibur, a weapon not merely of steel but a relic bound to the very fate of the land. Uther pushes forward into the heart of chaos, cutting down Mordred's forces. At the gates of the keep, Uther confronts Mordred himself, and the two engage in a brutal duel. Magic collides with raw determination. With one final surge, Uther slays Mordred, ending the siege, and for a fleeting moment, peace returns. Yet even in victory, shadows lengthen. Within the royal court, betrayal takes root closer than any foe. Uther's own brother, Vortigern, hungry for power, whispers in dark places and consorts with forbidden magic. His envy turns to obsession, and he is lured to the depths beneath Camelot's castle, into caverns haunted by the Sea Witch and her monstrous kin. Vortigern, driven to sacrifice what he holds most dear, offers up the life of his beloved wife. As the Sea Witch accepts his sacrifice, her dark magic transforms him, granting powers born from hate and ancient darkness. What price is too high for a crown? For Vortigern, no price at all. One storm-ravaged night, Vortigern makes his move. Loyal soldiers betray the king. Flames engulf the castle. As stone and timber burn, Uther realizes the horrifying truth. The threat was never beyond the walls, but beside him all along. In desperation, Uther rushes to save his queen and young son, Arthur. Cornered by Vortigern, now half-man, half-horn demon born of blood magic, Uther makes the hardest choice of a father and a king. Holding Arthur in his arms one last time, he places the boy into a small boat, pushing it into the river, away from ruin. As the horned demon closes in, Uther faces him head. Channeling the last of Excalibur's power, he turns himself to stone, denying Vortigern the sword and ensuring the legend will live on. The river carries Arthur away, his tiny boat rocked by the remnants of a kingdom's fall. Fate has spared him, but not without cost. Arthur's childhood passes not in royal halls, but in the hard, narrow alleys of Lynn. Raised in a brothel, he grows among thieves, beggars, and fighters. The forge of the streets tempers him, quick to laugh, quicker to fight, and fiercely loyal to those he calls family. He earns respect and fear alike, defending his surrogate family from the city's corrupt guards and petty warlords. Yet every night, shadows from a past he cannot fully recall haunt his dreams. Flames, screaming, and the looming shape of a horned demon. These fragments gnawed at his peace, but Arthur buries them, focusing instead on surviving each day. Decades pass. Vortigern rules with iron and terror. The magic of Britain recedes under his cruelty, and the people bend, resentful but powerless. Yet fate is patient. One day the tide reveals what was hidden. The sword Excalibur, embedded in stone amidst the ruins of Uther's castle. Its sudden reappearance sends fear down Vortigern's spine. He has seen visions of the rightful heir. The boy escaped long ago, rising to challenge him. Desperate to quash prophecy, Vortigern orders that every man of Arthur's age be dragged before the stone to attempt the impossible. Most fail and are dismissed or executed. But when Arthur's turn comes, destiny asserts itself. With bewildering ease, he pulls Excalibur from the stone. In that moment, visions flood, his memories long suppressed roar to the surface. His parents' desperate flight, the betrayal of an uncle he barely remembers, the monstrous figure that killed his father. Arthur's moment of clarity is short. Guard sees him, and he is thrown into the dungeons. There, he wrestles with crushing confusion. Who is he really? A street-born rogue or the last Pendragon? In these darkest hours, allies emerge. The mage, a mysterious woman chosen by Merlin himself, infiltrates the city. With her come Bedivere, a former knight loyal to Uther, and Goosefat Bill, a cunning rebel from the underworld. They see not just a man holding a sword, but the return of hope itself. Their plan to free Arthur from execution is daring. In a chaotic rescue, Arthur breaks free, fleeing into the hidden places of Britain, ancient forests and forgotten ruins where magic still lingers. Here, Arthur must do more than run. He must confront what Excalibur truly is and what it demands. The mage leads Arthur into the darklands, a place twisted by ancient magic, where reality itself bends. There, Arthur faces visions of his past, monstrous creatures born of guilt and fear, and the truth of his father's sacrifice. At first, he tries to reject this destiny, casting the sword aside, terrified of what it shows him. But truth cannot be denied forever. In a harrowing vision, Arthur sees clearly it was transformed by demonic power, who murdered his parents and destroyed Camelot. Faced with this, Arthur's resentment gives way to purpose. The boy from the brothel begins to fade. The heir to the Pendragon name begins to awaken. Through relentless trials, Arthur learns to wield Excalibur not just as a weapon, but as an extension of himself. When he fully accepts who he is, the sword grants him astonishing speed and strength, turning battle into something almost supernatural. Yet it remains a double-edged gift. It forces him to feel the weight of every life lost, every sacrifice made in his name. Meanwhile, Vortigern, sensing his nephew's rise, makes his darkest pact yet. In a chilling ritual, he sacrifices his own daughter to the Sea Witch, trading love for unstoppable power. The demon within Vortigern awakens fully, making him more formidable and monstrous than ever before. The final confrontation becomes inevitable. Arthur, now supported by a growing band of rebels and loyalists, plans a desperate assault on Vortigern's fortress. It is not merely an act of war, but a reclaiming of a stolen legacy. The night explodes in fire and chaos. Rebels storm the gates, clashing with Vortigern's soldiers. The mage uses her powers to unleash creatures of the wild, while Bedivere and Goosefat Bill lead the charge. Amid the chaos, Arthur carves his way through, each swing of Excalibur a statement that the age of tyranny is ending. Inside the keep, Arthur finds Vortigern waiting. Their confrontation is heavy with grief, anger, and twisted family ties. Vortigern, now a horned demon in full, attacks with inhuman ferocity. The battle that follows is raw and brutal, a nephew's desperate fight against the living embodiment of his nightmares. The turning point comes not from strength but from understanding. Arthur stops running from the past, embracing it. Fueled by memory and love for the parents he barely knew, he channels Excalibur's power fully. In a final, thunderous strike, he slays Vortigern, ending the dark chapter his uncle wrote in blood. With Vortigern dead, the magic he bound unwrapped, the kingdom begins to breathe again. The people, long crushed under fear, gather to see what comes next. Arthur, scarred but resolute, steps forward not as a prince who simply inherited a crown, but as a king forged in hardship, loss, and hope. He rebuilds the Round Table, not just a council of knights, but a symbol of unity beyond bloodlines and birthright. Around it sit loyal friends Bedivere, Goosefat, Bill the Mage, and others who believed in him when he could not believe in himself. In the final moments, Arthur raises Excalibur before his people. It is no longer merely a sword, but a testament that destiny can be delayed, but never destroyed, that even the darkest betrayal cannot kill hope, and that true kings rise not from privilege, but from courage to face who they truly are. Thus is born the legend not of a perfect king, but of a flawed man who became more than himself. Arthur Pendragon, the once and future king.